Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, the third day of Accelerate. We're glad you're here and you could make it. Our next speaker today is the CFO of HealthWise. Dara Wei is responsible for directing all financial and business enablement processes for HealthWise. In that role, she does financial accounting, reporting, analysis, sales analysis. That is a wide spectrum of responsibilities.
It is.
So she's been at HealthWise since 2013, and she has been at Accelerate for the last 3 years?
4. This is number 4.
Okay, I was going to say your hat trick. That's more than that. Can I have an applause for that? And the first thing, I think. Nara, thank you very much for supporting us. We are glad to have you here, and I want to give you the microphone so that people who are here to listen from you get that.
I think I have a microphone. I'm good. All right. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up? Very good. All right. Thank you. So I would like to tell you a little bit about HealthWise because I get to, and I have the privilege of working for an amazing company. We're a nonprofit healthcare education technology company. We're headquartered in Boise, Idaho, and we're 42 years old. We started as a publisher, and now we are a technology company. Almost 95% of our business is subscription business for software as a service style product. My mission, so the mission of HealthWise is to help people make better health decisions. And chances are most of you, if not all of you, have read the content that we write and publish and license to your healthcare payers, insurance companies, or providers. But my mission at HealthWise, in order to enable that mission, is to turn data into information and insights that enables better business decisions. That's what I'm passionate about, and that's my mission. So a couple of thoughts to start this off. When I joined HealthWise in 2014, the end of 2013 actually, this quote resonates so well. What got you here won't get you there. 40-year-old company at the time, had built all manual processes, only about 250 employees, but a very complex business model, and something I liken to calling Nightmare on Excel Street. And I knew that there was absolutely no way I could scale my business using the tools and solutions that had been built when this company was 11 employees and scaling up to 250 employees, and when we were supporting a handful of clients and now supporting the largest payer and provider organizations in the world. So my first challenge, clearly, was automation. I had 40 years of legacy contracts, 100% manual invoicing, and a complex web of manual processes. This stack is known as our blue folders, have come to mean lovingly blue folders at Apttus. This is my client. Each blue folder represents a client contract and a client invoicing record, and that's how my accounting team kept track of my clients. And invoicing for my accounting team, you think, how hard could it be for 281 clients? Well, it should be even simpler than that. I only invoice quarterly. How hard could it be? I had 2 accountants that 2/3 of their effort all year was invoicing. A single client invoice would take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours to generate in a quarter. And then they told me, by the way, our next business model is higher volume, lower value. So in the next couple of years, I need you to be prepared to double our client base, but the contracts are going to be worth 10 to 25% of what the contracts are worth today. Holy Hannah, there's no way I can hire more accountants, put more mice on the hamster wheel, let alone manage the business and the data and everything that has to take place in managing those contracts, in managing those products. And of course, I had no funding for incremental headcount, let alone whether I could actually do it. So the opportunity, really, that I was faced with was amazing, because I did have an opportunity to expand the use of my Salesforce CRM platform. As a nonprofit organization, I had the benefit of having the nonprofit discounts at Salesforce. And so for being a company relatively small, we had a really robust installation and implementation of Salesforce for CRM. So I remember, and I thought, well, I have no investment so far in the back office integration. I've got an ERP that's aging, and I've got to create a new system. I have a platform here. Is there something I could do? And I had a colleague who said, come with me to Accelerate. We were using CPQ, our sales team was using CPQ. They said, I think there's something that you need to see. So I came to Accelerate in 2014. It was in June. And I remember the light bulb moment. Sitting in the Palace Hotel in the big ballroom, and I felt like a cartoon character with the light bulb going on over my head when it occurred to me how transformational it would truly be to take the complexity of the invoicing, that which took hours and hours to translate into my ERP system, if I didn't try to put it in my ERP system, but rather pulled all that invoicing back where all of that data, all of that client data, all of that product data was already resident. If I pulled my invoicing process up here and all I pushed down to my ERP was what I needed to manage my accounting, wow, that would be amazing. Which began our journey on our expansion of our footprint on Apttus. So, as I mentioned, we had already had a pretty robust implementation of Salesforce CRM, and we're using it for lots of business processes with custom objects. And we had implemented CPQ, and we're using that. And our first implementation was into a single price book where we took a 70-page, single item, single line, single-spaced price book and put it into CPQ. From there, I saw this revenue management opportunity, and it's really unique. I get it. I'm like the Martian here to be the CFO saying, all right, let's do this on Salesforce, right? But I needed to solve this invoicing problem. And so I became a development partner with Apttus and have been working with Apttus since 2014 on the development and creation of billing and revenue. With that, we are using XAuthor for Excel because we have really complex billing schedules and pricing schedules, and we were able to take a lot of the complexity, a lot of the error and manual work out and put it right where my accountants love Excel, right? Put it right where they love it. They're comfortable and it's easy. And I integrated with Avalara for sales tax, and I use Jitterbit as my middleware into Navision. So in 2017, this year, we actually have done our first quote-to-cash implementation. We have 2 new business models. Okay, wait, this is the first time I'm going to say this. New business really easy. Legacy business really, really hard, okay? 2 new business models. So for these 2 new business models, with the help of an amazing, amazing implementation partner who is sitting right there, Lauren Hake, we have been able to implement 2 business models from quote to contract to revenue and billing completely in the system. And I truly have 2 business models in full quote to cash. And they're 2 of my low value, high volume business models. That's where we started. So super excited about that. But guess what we learned? You know, that single price book might not be optimized. So you also see a 2017 in CPQ because we are in the process of redesigning CPQ. And my senior director of finance has been with me here all week so that she can learn what she needs to do that. So thank you, Liz. So some key lessons, some secret sauce. First and foremost, you have to have leadership support. And the leadership support has to come from your key stakeholders because you're not going to get it completely right. Guarantee something's going to break, you're going to blow something, and they've got to buy in. They have to be with you on this journey, and they have to be willing to have your back when something doesn't go right for their staff. So in this case, we had IT, operations, and finance. And actually, after that, we added sales. And that sales leader has now become my primary cheerleader. So we started with IT, operations, and finance, but sales has been really critical. Challenge 1. I said this before. New is easy. Legacy is really, really hard. And when I started down this journey, my team didn't believe we could do this. Today, we have 90% of our clients migrated to Apttus, 80% of our revenue, actually I think it's 84% now, I was told today, and we will have 100% migration by June 30. This we believed was a mountain we could not scale, and we thought we were going to have workarounds. And Apttus has continued to develop the product in such a way that all of our business models will now fit into the product. And we have automated sales tax calculation and filings. I had one employee that was 75% time doing tax management. And now this is all being handled automated. Another secret sauce. Project champions, I'd like to introduce you to my old accounting manager, Janet. That is what she looked like when I told her we were going to do this. She was absolutely a deer in the headlights, and she thought for sure I had lost my mind. And I spent a lot of time with her talking about the benefits, making sure she understood how this would benefit her team in the long run. And yes, it's a lot of effort, and yes, it's a lot of pain. And sometimes those initial critics become your best project champions, because about 12 months into our journey, and we've been at this a while, but 12 months into our journey, she had a personal situation come up, and she had to scale back on her time. She came to me and she said, I can't work full time anymore. I need you to find another accounting manager. I have to take care of my mother. And I said, I totally understand. And she said, and I know this puts you in such a bind. She said, but I now believe so much in this project. If you can get the funding, I'll stay on as project manager. And she stayed on for another 6 months until we could get the project far enough along that we could hand it baton-like off to my new accounting manager, who is now amazingly managing this system and truly the expert in our organization. So I told you a little bit about FastPass. Our Chapter 2 update, we've got this FastPass full quote-to-cash integration. Don't tell Disneyland, I don't know if they have the intellectual property for FastPass, but it made a lot of sense for everybody we were talking to. They understood what it meant. They understood it was different. They understood it was new. And we've now enabled these new hyper-growth business models into this. So what do I mean by that? This is what our quote-to-cash solution system looked like, if you will, before we started this journey. And it's important to note the various steps: quote CPQ, quote and proposal. We had a contract request worksheet, a legal request that then happened, an agreement that had to happen, an invoice that had to happen. And if you look on the bottom line, you see how many tools or quasi-tools we were using to make this happen. With FastPass, we went from this to that. I took out 2 complete steps out of the process, and the entire solution sits inside of Apttus. It's cool, super cool. So another secret ingredient to our sauce is key stakeholder support. Your key partners and stakeholders, initially this started as my sales guy. He was my key stakeholder, and now he's another champion with me. He's up there as one of the executives championing this project, which is great. They will help you campaign for the support when you need it. You got to figure out what it is in your organization. Is it your sales guy you need? Is it your legal person you need? Who is it? And I'll tell you, it's not easy, and I don't have 100%. I've never fully won over my legal team. It's still a challenge that I have in my organization, and it's why I've only done FastPass at this point, because it's my way to prove that we can do this, and we're going to continue to bite this off one bite at a time. So my other thought for the day, and we've heard some of this in other places, nothing worth having comes easy. And this is really hard. Have I mentioned this is hard? And it's not hard because Apttus is not good. It's hard. This is like taking your entire revenue process, quote to cash, every process in your company from cradle to grave, and trying to get it in one system. So what do I think are some of the key learnings that I wish I had thought about in advance? The first one is plan for change. Have I mentioned this is hard? System migration is really hard. And if this is your first time automation, it's even harder. And the reason for that is manual processes hide a multitude of sins. And so as you try to automate a manual process, you find out that you have responsibilities in the wrong place, you don't have the controls you thought you had, you have got to add time to your project plan for all of the change management. I moved people in the organization, I moved functions, I changed roles and responsibilities. We had to do all kinds of things. I changed how I bundle my products to optimize how I calculate tax. Major, major changes. They're worth it, but plan for it, because we got a little surprised here and there. The other one, assemble the right team. And if you've ever read Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, he says get the right people on the bus and get the wrong people off the bus. And I'll tell you that everyone told me that Janet was the wrong person, that my deer in the headlights and her team were never, ever going to go on this migration journey with me, that I was going to have to get new accountants. Every one of those people, except for Janet, who finally did retire, they're still employed at HealthWise. They are still champions of this product. Would you like to know who I lost? My Salesforce admin. This is hard. And I've learned that there's two types of Salesforce admins, and I have a couple, but I lost my key Salesforce admin. I lost two of them, actually. There's those that like to maintain a stable system, and there are those that like to innovate. And prior to this, we had a stable system. And my first one, she didn't want to innovate. She wanted a stable system. So she went and found a job that she could manage a stable system, and I found an innovator. And it was all good, but I didn't expect it, and I don't think anybody else did either. The other one, build a strong foundation. Remember I said I'm redoing CPQ? It all starts there. So in order to build a strong foundation, you really have to think through your entire workflow. You've got to map it out. You need to know where it's coming from. You need to know what you have to do with that data for tax. You need to know what you have to do with that data for revenue. You need to know what you have to do with that data for billing. And for crying out loud, please, please, please make sure you understand all of the date fields everywhere. Really critical. Dates, 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 dates. And ask 12 times. And ask 12 more times, and make sure you understand it, and you can repeat it back in the way it was really intended. Data, understanding how that data has to work. Hi, Summit. All my friends are here. All my Apttus friends are here. So you have to optimize your implementation design for your solution needs, and you really need to understand your workflow. And have I mentioned this is hard? New business is really easy. With Lauren's help, we got these new business models 2 months. End to end, give or take. I mean, there was obviously some planning before then, but we did it in 2 months. And it's taken me 18 months to get 281 clients in the system. It's hard. But it wasn't going to be worth it to me if I couldn't get them all there. I didn't want to continue to manage my revenue in 2 places. And it requires serious heavy lifting. So our value proposition, we have pricing optimization and financial controls, coordinated workflow, increased productivity, and business growth and scale. I'm a huge champion. This is an amazing solution. Is it perfect? It is not. But there isn't one you will find that is. And the one thing I can say is through every step of the journey, when we found an imperfection, the commitment of Apttus to fix those things and help us find our way to use this solution to truly deliver on this value proposition has been unwavering. So I can't say more about Apttus as a partner, and I'm thrilled with the product. That's it. And I'll take questions, but I think we're probably out of time. If there's any questions, or I'll just stand outside if anybody wants to chat with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dara. We really appreciate having you here 4th year in a row, and we look forward to half a decade next time. And I think you've summarized the journey of most of our customers. They find one product and realize they need another one in the Apttus solution blueprint to automate another part of their process. And having the common data model, it's not easy, but having the common data model at the same time helps them get it further. It's easier than it would have been if you had another data model. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, system integrations are as hard as onboarding. So our goal here, and one of the reasons we selected Apttus, is every time you have to manage that data between systems, there's more risk, there's more cost, and it is really important to me, and it's part of our key value proposition that it's all in one place.
Thank you. If you have any questions for Dara, Speaker Lounge is the place where you should meet her. Thank you very much for coming and joining us.